Well, hey, we are back. It's another month. Yay.
Yay. Stuff.
Oh, with somebody.
Well, hello there, Chris. How are you doing?
Oh, God, when'd you guys get here? You didn't see me get dressed before, did you?
Well, that's been saved. That's going on the OnlyFans page.
Yeah, it didn't go on the stream, so you're
Oh, good. Save that for the blooper reel.
Say, Chris, what's that you're reading?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. This is so natural, right?
Yeah, not forced at all. I hate infomercials. That's absolutely despise those things.
right. It's the worst case scenario for white people. It's like you get the dumbest motherfucker on the planet, like, oh, how do cups work? I don't know. It's like, how do books work? I don't know, but we made one. Oh God.
I'm glad Cam brought that up. It bounces really well. So
It does. Look at this shit. And it comes back just fine.
Look at that. So
if you need a hottie boomerang, poof, or the
absolutely.
Actually, I could have used this on Friday because I had somebody opened the gates of the dickhead farm and let them all out, and I had to deal with them. And I'm just like, I hate people. Like, honestly, if I had the nuke button or one of these to slap people in the face, like, that's a good, get a good backhander with that.
See, you could use it for 101 uses, more than just reading.
Who wants to just do that? That's boring. But anyway, Chris, Carol, we finally made it. Chris' Crazy Theories, first foray into foolishness is now out, and we're going to spend some time talking about it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it came out awesome. You guys did a great job with the hard part. I just wrote bullshit, but you guys did a great job with the actual look of it. It came out really cool. It looks good. It's a fun read. So I've heard good feedback from it.
Honestly, mate, if it wasn't for your ideas, like just putting this stuff out of thin air, like going directions nobody thought was possible with movies, like it wouldn't even be a thought on the radar.
Well, it's nice that my mental issues can be capitalized in this way.
We've made a whole podcast out of them. You know what I mean? That's what you do.
Yeah, because these are all being collected as evidence to be used in my insanity plea coming soon. But no, it's a lot of fun, man. I appreciate it. And Cam rocked it with the art. I don't know if you want to skip ahead.
That was a lot of fun. A lot of shit I never thought I'd ever do, but yeah, a lot of fun.
That's half the battle, isn't it? You know, enjoying what you do. Because when things become a slog or a chore, then you've got another job. You know, the whole point of this is to actually take something, you know, have a bit of catharsis, think about things, but actually make it into something tangible as well, you know, so that we're not completely wasting our time. Sort of feel like we're being productive, not just big kids.
Yeah, I've said it for a while. Like I have a job. You guys get to, you know, do a lot more of this stuff, but I have a job that is anti-creativity. It's very repetitive. You actually get punished for being creative because you have to do the same for every person. I work in insurance, if anyone doesn't know, whatever. So you have to do the same thing because you forget one person and then it's a big deal that you didn't do the exact same thing. So it basically, it's soul sucking is the best way to put it. So to have this outlet to get to hang out with you guys, to get to do something fun, has just been awesome. And you guys did a great job with the channel. I caught onto it like a year in, and I've really enjoyed it. It's not a genre that I really knew much about, but you guys have made it accessible and fun for a newbie to get into. So yeah, I appreciate you.
No, glad you have it. Where did you get the idea? Because obviously we met when we were playing Dragonlance on Adam's channel, and
Dude,
I don't know, the conversation just sort of happened.
Don't tell people I'm a nerd.
Really? Like on this?
I know. Everyone knows I know.
Yeah, we all wear shirt and tie. We just take our shirts and ties off today, you know. Beer. Philosophy, beer. Yeah, that's us. Yeah. No nerds here.
No.
The shenanigators in.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, I feel kind of surrounded.
One of us. One of us.
But yeah, it was just I think you were just talking to me saying you weren't too familiar with horror movies, etc., and you're worried that it was going to be like some traumatic experience watching one. Is that right?
Yeah, so you mentioned right, because we met during the Dragonlance, which was a lot of fun, that Adam had hosted, and you had mentioned that you had a channel with Cam, and it was a horror, channel, and I was like, yeah, it's not really my favorite genre. I was more into like sci-fi and comedy and things like that. But then you mentioned there's like so many different aspects. It's not just slashers, and you said like there's comedy horror is actually a pretty robust genre. There's a lot of them, and you started to mention some movies. I was like, yeah, I have seen that. That's true, I have seen that. And of course everyone's seen like Gremlins and Killer Clowns and things like that. And then before I realized that I actually had seen a lot more than I realized. And I think that's how it came about. You were kind enough to invite me onto a stream to review Killer Clowns, which I know Cam is not happy about. It's one of his favorite movies.
Really is.
But I think
Yeah.
that's how it all started.
That is definitely that's one from my childhood. Just one that just sticks with you. It's just so much fun remembering everything about it and the costumes and the ideas and just like the 80s were a special time. Can't say that enough. And the more I see what's going on today, it's like, oh, I was so lucky growing up when I grew up. It's that sort of thing. I never thought I'd be one of those people, but
Right.
when you see the sort of whiny, just miserable bastards that populate the world today with nothing to whine and be miserable about, you're like, fuck off. This is why I'm happier than you, sort of thing. I can
Yeah.
like deal with life for the point anyway, but like life as a struggle. But nobody ever told me it was otherwise. If that makes sense, growing up.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what's great about horror is there's so many different aspects that you may not like one particular type, like you may not like Saw movies or whatever, but you could see, something else that appeals to you. So that's what's great. It's very diverse.
But that was an interesting thing as well, because when we did that first review, that's what basically started this all off. Um, you just decided to throw this theory in, and I'm like, oh, this is a new thing. Where'd that come from? What is that something you've always done, or what? Where
Yeah,
did that sort of spark, come from?
yeah. Where did your mental degradation start? So, yeah, basically, I have this thing that my wife and a buddy of mine makes fun of me, where I'll buy into the premise of the movie that no matter how ridiculous it is, but then there's one aspect to it that I'll complain about. It's like, well, this doesn't make sense. And then so for example, take a movie like Reign of Fire, very underrated. Matthew McConaughey. It's about
Christian
dragons.
Bale. Yep.
Yeah, very very cool movie. Which is that's those have been my type of movies, up until now. And so I'll be watching something like that, and I'm like, I don't get that the dragon would have to take so long to regenerate his breath weapon. Something like that'll bother me. And they'll be like, you realize this is a movie about dragons flying around, and you're like annoyed at like the coloring or some stupid aspect. So that's always been like a thing as I watch movies. Like I get hung up on like one little aspect, but the rest of the premise I'm totally buy into. So I think with the Killer Clowns, it was the first time I actually got to articulate it. Whereas maybe I kept it to myself and just wondered a little bit as I watch movies. So there is something about reviewing it. Cam, I bet Well, you let me know if you feel the same way. It does, make you think about the movie differently than if you were just watching it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to look at it critically versus just appreciating it for what it is.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the rabbit hole you go down as a reviewer, because it's hard to switch that part of your brain off once it gets activated. Like it's just it's there, and you have to actually make a constant, just a concerted effort to go right. This is just for fun. Start drilling now. That sort of thing, because you have to actually make a point of right. I'm not like I just want noise and shiny lights.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different like mental muscle that you have to use when you're reviewing to look at it, differently and think about it more cohesively. Yeah, I really enjoy it, but you're right. It's tough to turn off once you start going that way.
So that started becoming a regular thing. Yeah, just every 2 weeks we just started, okay, let's get a list. Let's go through some random movies and have a look. Did you feel because you'd done the first one that you were obligated, or was it just something you've always wanted to do?
It is something that I've always done naturally, just from watching movies. Like I think about, okay, if you're gonna have, let's say, the killer clowns from outer space, just as the first example, like, why is it that they just disappear when you shoot them in the nose? And like I started to think about a way. I try to like help the writer, or at least in my head, like head canon, I guess they call it. Like I try to help it make sense, even if they haven't, done it, just to make the movie more enjoyable to me. So it's something I've always done, I guess, and I bet a lot of people do, but they just don't maybe have the platform to articulate it. I think the thing that maybe I do is I tend to go down a rabbit hole a little bit further to a really bad place to try to figure it all out. Whereas other people would be like, okay, the writer just, left out an important detail, or it's just, a plot hole. Whereas I have to like fill the plot hole and like try to make it make sense,
Yeah. God, what was it? Well, it was one of the Tremors ones. When we started covering the Tremors series. I think the minute you brought out the flip chart, I knew this had to be a segment. Like that was the first stage. Like when you actually went down that of here's a flip chart, I'm like, oh shit, he's got props now. This is getting serious, right? And
Yeah.
then that's where the cogs started going. Right, we need to do something with this, and that's where the intro and stuff came into it.
Well, that to me is one of the favorite parts of it. Is that, if the audience isn't aware, you're not aware of what I'm gonna do, or like, we haven't talked about it ahead of time.
No, I that's a complete blind reaction to whatever it is you threw in.
So after we did a couple, and I appreciated you had a good reaction to it, and once in a while we'd have someone in the chat who had a good reaction to it. I was like, well, I could have some fun with this, So then I tried to like take it to further than a reasonable person would take it. So then I brought out the charts. I had like the long pointer, and I tried to make it a little over the top and ridiculous, and then you shouldn't have encouraged me, because that's just gonna
But
make me
anybody that knows me,
do it
if
more.
I see some madness, I'm gonna encourage you to go. That's actually the inspiration for the cover, because I just remember that first flip chart you brought out, and that's the bit that turned it from just a little anecdote, if that makes sense, that oh shit, this is the thing, this is something that could be grown or built upon, and have a life of its own.
Yeah. Well, you've been behind me the whole time with this. I really appreciate it. Like, you could have just been like laughed it off and it was a nothing, but then I would come on and you would have like a a music part to it. Then it became like a full video intro, and then like it just kept building, and you kept like encouraging me, which is you shouldn't do. But no, that's I think that's what really
That's kind of my thing, mate.
Yeah.
That's kind of my. Let's go. Let's crank it up. Let's see what you can do here.
Yeah.
Because I'm always doing it to myself, so I'm going to do it to others.
Yeah. But it's been very collaborative. Like it doesn't work without like the straight man or whatever. Like you can't have just the silly person without the person to like react off of, or to ask questions, or to say no, that doesn't make sense. I think the dynamic works very good.
There was one of the first times I did that. Getting into, because I saw it basically. I think that's what I had to explain it to you, like a role playing session.
Right.
When it switches over, basically we step into characters as opposed to just being presenters.
Right.
And there's one time I can't remember. I said something and it completely derailed you because you weren't ready for it.
Yeah, in the beginning, because I had like my whole theory laid out, and then like the first sentence in, you're like, nah, I don't think that makes sense. I was like, what? But then after a while, I got a little bit more used to it, and then I actually enjoyed it, because then like you said, it became like a character, and I could just play off that and be like, your disbeliever or your tinfoil hat is blocking the rays away. We just had fun with it, but yeah, it's grown over time. It's been a fun segment.
I think and then there was a few of us together with the Drag Me to Hell movie.
Yeah.
And that was funny because I think at that point we were in the zone, and then seeing other people going, huh? I think that was your first time you were actually in the episode, Cameron, wasn't it?
No,
But
I remember Cam actually said he enjoyed it, which made me feel good. Because at that point I thought it was just me and you. Like we didn't have a lot of reaction to it at that point. And then when I started to do the segment, Cam said that like he enjoyed it, which was cool because that's cool. But besides me and Colin, someone else liked it. It was Adam in the chat who was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, you'll definitely leave it to Adam to say some shit.
Which was funny too in a way. I don't know. Both reactions are funny. The encouragement is funny, but the the outright shock and disbelief is funny too.
yeah, because I've actually started seeing over the last, I don't know, 4 months or something, there's actually people saying, if you want to see people in tinfoil hats, like on the Discord server, quick, get over there now. They've got tinfoil hats on.
Yeah,
and the people are starting to pop up the chat. Where are these tinfoil hats? I'm like, you missed it. We've done it. Fucking keep up.
that has been really cool. But it works so much better when there's someone's reaction to play off of. Like Flea, who's in the chat now, has been a really big help with that, because when someone reacts to it and they're like, actually that makes sense, they'll put it in the chat like, actually that theory kind of makes sense, or other ones were like, no, I'm not buying the bullshit you're sending out on this one, Chris. Like, that's cool to bounce. It really helps having that interaction.
So what was the sort of, because God, how long have we been doing this? A couple of years now. Because this has been a year in the planning. It mightn't seem like it, but we've been working on this. The book as a separate thing, for about a year to get it ready and out, and just from concept to see if it would work. How much of a challenge was that? The idea that it was just a fun segment. This has to be something structured and actually in print form, and into something sellable that people that may not even have heard of any of this might see this on the shelf and go, oh, might check that out.
Right. Yeah, it's a different challenge because in my mind it's always been like a visual gag, and like something like with the flip charts and stuff like that. Like, I thought it worked well to see it as a sight gag, but I wasn't sure how it was going to translate to book form. And in some cases, it translates really well because you're able to kind of extrapolate a little bit more on the theory. Because we're recording this live. It's not like something that we pre-record and edit and have second, third takes. And this may be a shock to you, but I'm not very good as far as the speaking goes. So I'm not, I stutter more than most, and sometimes I trip over my words and stuff like that. Sometimes there's like a really great point in my theory that I completely omitted because I just that's the beauty, right? I appreciate it. So that's the beauty of live recording and podcasting. So to actually have time to think about the theory and like actually put it into words where it makes more sense and go into detail, it actually works really well from that aspect. But again, to go back to the art, I think that's what makes the book too. Like, that's something you can't get with just the video. Like, it's a way of encapsulating the fun aspect of the theories into like a sight gag that relates to each individual theory. So to me, the selling point is that's a great example.
Well, the best part of it wasn't just doing it. Like, that shit was fucking fun as hell. But the best part was, I think it was like the second or third one in, where you're like, oh wait, you keep using my face. Why don't you just draw the thing? And it's like, motherfucker, it's a book about you. Obviously, the pictures are gonna be you. And, having you as a muse was fantastic.
That was a whole thing in the background, actually. I don't know whether that should be released as a photo book or I should put that as an appendix at the end. But Chris, do this. Chris, get in the shower and do this. Yeah. Like, that was one of the.
No. Here's the thing. He went above and beyond, because I just asked for specific poses for his face because I'd have an idea of like, I'd quickly read through the theory. Because it's different listening to shit versus actually reading it. Like
it's completely different mediums, isn't it?
So it's like, all right, this is exactly where this is going in my head. So it's like, Chris, do this. And then it'd be like, yeah, I need you to pretend you're singing. And then next thing we know, get a picture of him in the shower singing. It's like, all right.
Is there any other way? I mean,
What's-
that's how you do it. Oh yeah, I think I mentioned it in one of the text chains. I was like, this is totally eliminated any possibility of like a political career down the road or any kind of like civil service. Like Cam has so many pictures of me that could be used as a, you know, make me hostage.
Well, in the UK, being a pervert's actually a requirement to go into Parliament.
Oh, good.
No, I mean
There
it's
you go.
the same here.
It's
just
yeah,
different kind
that
of pervert.
house is just for the deviants. Honestly, they're and the thing is, they're all ugly bastards as well, which just makes it even more. When the news stories break like every month of them up to something, you're like, oh god,
So Cam has a whole file called Chris's blackmail. Anytime he needs
Pretty
to use it.
much. Pretty much.
But that's a good point. Actually, they're two completely different
Is it?
mediums. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, prepared. And I'd seen there was a point where the lines were starting to get blurred a bit. The theories were starting to come like 20 minutes something. Was that you having to adjust? Because we had a chat about it. Remember that? Was that you adjust from writing mode to performing mode? And I think that's the difference as well between a novel and a film script. If
Yeah.
that, and that's where a lot of adaptations have a problem. And I think that's something it was interesting to encounter it in real time, where initially you're writing them as basically a film script, a visual gag, a reel,
Yeah.
and then because you were getting into book writing, novel writing territory, that was actually starting to come across
100%.
and then it was only one or two of them, and then it was like, oh, what's happening here? And then you even said it. We had the conversation. It was like, oh, these are getting longer. Like you're in book writing mode. That's why
Yeah.
a novelist will blah 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 blah. But on a film, for example, or this, it's only like a couple of seconds.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, it was definitely bleeding into the book writing aspect was bleeding into the visual part. I think it was a Resident Evil one, and I had a theory that went on for like 20 minutes on screen. And one of the cool things that you've been doing is you've been isolating just that part and releasing it on the channel as just that. So I'm able to just watch it back, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't work. Like people's attention isn't that long. You don't have to go. First of all, it's made up. Spoiler alert. These theories are not always accurate. So you don't have to do 25 minutes of bullshit. You can do 10, and it works even better. So yeah, I had to kind of like retrain my mind. Like there's the visual one. You don't have to go into the weeds as much. But when you're doing the book, you do want to explain it a little bit more, and that's the benefit of the book is that it's more accessible because you could read the full theory in 5-10 minutes, but visually it would be, if you played it out, it would take 20 minutes. So
I love the way that you'd go off on a tangent and you'll mention a philosopher or a period in history or something. And actually, one of the ones you did was for the secret episode. If you get this book, there's a couple of secret episodes that aren't actually available on the channel. You only get to see them if you're in the book. If you read the book, you get the link to that one. And yeah, you go off like in this, go like really serious, a moment of history or a philosopher, and then you just come back off the chart. Like, are you looking for that hook, or does it come naturally? Like, how did that come about?
yeah, I don't know where, I can't say where it came from, but the idea behind it is that if you're trying to sell a lie or you're trying to sell bullshit, anytime you could add in some actual facts, like maybe there was like an old saying that if you
Like
tell like
the
7
George
truths
P. Mitchell reference, for example,
yeah,
the
I
father
think
of fracking.
yeah, I feel like if you tell 7 truths and a lie, you're able to bury the lie a little bit and hide it. So the idea being is like with some of the stuff, if I'm able to mix in some actual facts, it just gives the theory more weight, even if the the connection between the fact and the theory is tenuous. It does tend to help it a little bit, and then that became a fun aspect too. Like not that we're looking to be educational, but if it's on topic and relates to the theory, and you could learn something too, why not?
Yeah, that's I'm not a big comedy fan, but one of my like favorite comedians that I laugh at is Al Murray, and he's a historian, so he actually does throw like facts in and dates and stuff, and then you go, "Is that right?" And then you go look it up, you find, "Oh shit, that actually happened," and
Yeah,
I love that. Just the fact that yeah, there's a little bit of, "Oh, what's this? Oh, let's go and have a look. Oh, right, that's a thing. Cool." And
yeah,
then
yeah,
just the lead to something like crazy,
yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. By the way, you mentioned "Drag Me to Hell." That was cool. The you said the actress who played was it Christine? Who was the
Yeah.
main? She actually liked the theory on one of the social
Yeah,
media.
on X, it just yeah, we started to get. It's funny. We started to get random interactions with some of the people involved in these movies.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm not a big like I don't go clout chasing or anything, but it's just interesting when you put something out there. And this has been all over the channel. We'll have people have like directed the movies and stuff said, "Oh, thanks for that review," and we're like, "Huh? Where'd you come from? How'd you find us?"
yeah,
Right.
And you're like, okay, well, thanks very much. It's but I never thought anything more of it. But yeah, when she went, because it seems like she's got back into doing conventions or something, because she gave up acting after that movie,
right, right.
which we mentioned. Just for some reason that was it. After that movie, she was done, but she started to appear again doing conventions, and yeah.
I thought that I thought that was so cool. But it's interesting that that was the only one that Cam was on. So maybe that's the secret. If we want to get more Hollywood people to chime in,
I,
we need
I
to
don't
have
know.
Cam.
I don't want the Hollywood. You know what I mean? I don't mind the odd person now and again, but I have no interest in Hollywood or that fucking sphere or being like the
Holly,
next variety or
yeah,
something. Or I've just no interest in that. It's fake. It's contrived. It's there's a
Wait,
plastic
you
element to
mean
it.
these people make up stories?
No, just mean in their
How
life.
fucking dare they?
I mean, outside, like their lives are fake. Like there's not a genuine bone in their body. It's just like no time for them outside that. Yeah, if they make something cool and I enjoy it, fair enough. But also just very clear about drawing that line. That's the whole. I like to talk to independent creators, but at the same time, I'm not making it the whole thing. If
but
that
did you
makes
see
sense,
that?
because I don't want to be like, oh, you have so many thousand followers or blah blah blah. I'm going to chase after you and get into that sort of, because I think it'll ruin the authenticity of the actual conversations.
But did you see that actress that dragged me to hell? She's welcome here anytime. Let's not
Yeah.
scare her away.
Yeah. What was your most challenging theory so far? What was one like you're just like, no,
Oh,
no.
it comes right to mind. It was the Kindred TV show. That because the thing is you can watch a bad movie and it's like, all right, that's 90 minutes I'll never have back, but it is what it is. It was an experience. But that Kindred TV show went on for hours and hours and hours, and it was terrible. It was made by Aaron Spelling, right? The person who made Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So basically, that's what it was. It was like watching like a teenage like soap opera about vampires, but it was even less exciting than that sounds. It was awful. So as I'm watching this, I was like, I really can't grab onto any aspect because this is not something I want to think more about than I have to. So that one was very difficult, and I think I just settled on the location. Um, it being in San Francisco and how Tony Bennett is a vampire. I think that's that one.
It was actually more effort than what the TV show put in. Yeah, we're going to do that over 2 streams, and I'm like, I'm not doing another stream. We'll just talk about
Yeah.
one stream. I can't revisit this. It needs to be deleted from memory. I think that's definitely the worst review of anything ever. You're just like, I don't want to be here.
That
I don't want
that
to
was
be
a
here
tough
talking
one.
about this.
Yeah,
It's so shit. I like
because
that's
even like in a movie like Leprechaun 4 or whatever, like there's a fun aspect to it, even when it's
Greatest
done.
leprechaun ever.
That's a bad example because that actually
yeah.
was a
It's
fun
like
movie.
fucking watch yourself. Like, did you just feel the icy blaster as you uttered them
Yeah, I
words?
did.
Like,
As soon as I said it, yeah.
whoa.
But in another movie, like a Critters movie or something like that, there's always parts to grab onto that are fun. Sharknado, that's a better example.
Mm.
Although I know you guys have a different opinion of Sharknado, but there's always something to interesting to look at, even in a bad movie. But in a TV show like that, it just wasn't much. Yeah.
No, we're a hive mind. We're always lockstep in agreement on everything. You know what I mean? Never a disagreement on this channel. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Never ever.
That's what's interesting is we have such diverse, backgrounds and thoughts on the channel. Dell is from New Zealand. Flea likes anime. Cam and you are just different. I think that's cool. I think if we were all
we like trash.
I think if we were all like from the same area and had the same background and the same experiences, like a lot of podcasts are, friends that live close together or have experienced the same thing. Like it's kind of vanilla, So that's one of the things I like about the channel is you get such a difference of perspectives.
It would be boring otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to fight every episode, but I don't want to live in an echo chamber either.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point? And then that's the way conversations go, though.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting at the pub or have a cup of coffee or something. It's like, oh, did you see that last night? Oh, hated it, but I liked it. And then blah blah blah. The conversation starts. But I think what I want to be as antithesis to the social media of if you don't like this thing, you're a horrible person and you're not in our gang. But if you do like this thing, you're a horrible person and you're in their gang. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
The way that instantly like a movie comes out and before it even comes out, two camps have formed of, yeah, we're gonna like it, we're gonna hate it, and that's it. And there's no fucking if buts or maybes.
Yeah, and I think if you look on YouTube, that seems to be like 90% of the channels are just hating on different things. One of the things I liked, Cam and Adam have a YouTube channel for Star Wars, and they had a segment but they had a segment on what we like about what we like about the sequel trilogy, which I thought was really different because you don't see that anywhere else.
It was difficult.
Yeah. But I think that the challenge of it, I think, made it work. So what I like, Colin, about the reviews is like you're not just shitting on the thing for an hour. Like we really look at it. We're not gonna love everything, but even in the movies that are not that good, we still try to find aspects that are interesting, to talk about, or in the case of the theory, something fun with it,
Sometimes, like some of the things reviewed, that's been the fun aspect, to make it worthwhile. Because sometimes you're like, got a movie, and it's like, no, and then actually bringing in the crazy theory, making it all make sense,
So, yeah, some of them help, right? Yeah, some of them help. Sometimes you wish the writer would if you just explain it, not necessarily my theory, but if you just explained, how this works a little bit better, it would make everything make sense,
Another fun aspect was actually a few people obviously sent us birthday messages for the last last anniversary there.
Oh yeah.
And the artist from Killer Clowns from Outer Space spent 8 minutes debunking your theory. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, talking about taking that seriously, like super, like, and actually getting his drawings out to go, no, actually, this is what I was thinking, and blah blah blah, and go through the whole concept of, like,
yeah, to have someone that worked on the movie spend 8 minutes telling me why I'm wrong was the most enjoyable thing ever. So some people would
that's
be
when
like,
you know you made it.
Yeah. Some people would be like offended, like, oh well, I can't believe you, and I disagree, and I'm gonna write back to you, and we're gonna. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, dude, you just spent 8 minutes. Like, I'm talking about something I said. Like, I don't know. I found it hysterical.
But if it's all done in good, that's the whole thing, though. It's all done in good nature and banter. That's the difference between like people having a dig at each other.
Yeah.
Just maybe not getting the joke, or maybe it was just he's a super dry sense of humor and decided he's going to take it like 100% seriously. But yes, here's where you might have thought, here's fucking concept number 3. Here's where you might have thought that might be the case. I can see that, and I was maybe close to thinking the same. However, I'm just like,
Yeah, here's the anatomy which shows that it is not. He does not breathe, and it's it's dude, it's a killer clown. Like that was
that was
great.
amazing. Honestly, that was just like that's
Or
a that's a complete nerdy thing to do, isn't it?
oh, it was great. It was great.
That
How
is
about
that is complete nerd meets nerd, and nerdness ensues.
exactly? Or how about the Toxic Avenger one? He actually he liked the theory. He thought it made sense a little bit.
Oh, Melvin,
Melvin from
Toombs, isn't
Toxic
it?
Avenger. Yeah.
Mark, for God's sake, Mark. It's the first name, isn't it?
Oh man, I'm blanking on it.
Mark. I mean, Mark.
Gosh,
I think it's
yeah, I
Mark.
feel
Yeah,
terrible.
But
he
he
plays
gave
Melvin.
yeah, that was cool. He gave Cam a shout out. Yeah, I like that guy. He actually liked the theory. He was down with it.
And that's the whole thing, isn't it? About imagination. I've always said this. Imagination is fantastic. You don't know where it's going to take you. The worst thing is not to have an imagination, not to exercise it. Like that's where you get your TV show, soap opera watching, just dullards that have like die before they hit 50 because like they've given up on life and they just go through the motions, and that's the worst existence.
Yeah,
My
for
opinion
sure.
anyway. I'd sooner not bother. Like I see people just they go through the grind every day and they don't have anything, and you just think, why do you even exist? Now I'm not saying everybody has to be an artist. That's not the point. But it
Right.
used to be storytelling or like sketching or crosswords or something, just something that made your mind like go somewhere else was a thing. But now no,
Mhm.
it's not. It's very rare to find people who actually, have an imagination, who
Right.
aren't trying to do it as a living. If that makes sense.
Well, what gets me is like the activities like that everybody should fucking do. If you do it in the wild, it's like mind blowing. Like I get congratulated every time I go to the dentist with my wife because I read a book while she gets her shit done. Because what the fuck else am I gonna do? Sit there and twiddle my thumbs? And it's always like, oh, so you like reading, huh? Well, good for you. And it's like, do normal people not like reading? Because that seems fucking weird to me.
Yeah, that's
Like you
always been
gotta
something.
work your mind in some fucking way, whether it's experiencing someone else's creativity or you being creative.
I used to get shit for that when I was in the army because I'd have a book in a fucking Ziploc, you know what I mean, and would be not a obviously an expert like right the ranges and stuff. Well, fuck when you're basically what it is. There's a lot of activity, and then you're just sitting around for hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, fucking, you've been reading that for 20 minutes now, huh? What are you have? What are you in the chat or what? I don't even know what anybody's about. And somebody's gotten really offended because I would do that. Like, you fucking mental. But then most people that I work with end up in the streets, boozed out of their head or on pills and stuff, or just fucking broken when they leave because nothing else. That's it. Once it finished, once their time was done, they didn't know what else to do because they never exercised their imagination. So
Wait, you just said most people that work with you end up boozing or on the streets?
yeah, that might be a contributing factor. Yeah. I'm not the easiest person to work with, and definitely not the easiest person to live with either. So I get that. There, you guys know, fucking 5 years. You know what I mean? I am not. I am not the easiest person. I know that. I try to temper it. I always try to not be me as often because I don't know, just like things done a certain way and that, and if I'm going on a certain path, I don't like to be derailed or at least give a chance to think about it to change course. And I definitely don't do drama. I can't be arsed. That's instant fucking do one. I just can't be annoyed. But that's the thing though. That's what this is about. It's not being that. It's having a bit of fun, just talking about things, and whether liking them or not, just having that conversation as opposed to fucking blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say, if you're watching a movie or a book or TV, whatever it is, and instead of like seeing like a plot hole and like just being like, oh, that sucks, I didn't explain that. I think it's a fun way of enjoying entertainment to think about ways where it makes sense, or come up with your own, theories as to, all right, they didn't explain it, but what if this, and this happened, and that's the reason why the character's doing this or the creature's doing this. I think it adds. It certainly helped for me enjoy a lot of movies which aren't always the best. Some of the B horror movies, not Leprechaun 4, which is a classic, but some of
Fucking
the other ones.
classic.
Well recovered.
By the way, the DHL people contacted me. They're not happy. But but I just think it's a fun way of just enjoying entertainment, So I encourage people, as you're watching movies and you come across a plot hole or something that just a movie that just doesn't really make sense in your head, come up with your own ideas as to why it would work, and if they had done it a little bit differently or something in the background that's off camera that helps it make sense. I think it's a fun way of enjoying these things.
No, well, honestly, I'm glad that there's something about an idea concept becoming the physical form. Definitely. That's when the thing becomes real, and it's not just pipe dreams. That makes sense.
Yeah. And there's got to be a movie. I mean, we've picked movies that are, very widely known, very accessible. Beetlejuice is one that you have to, you have to have the book to see. So there's got to be a movie out there that everyone will find that they like, but never thought about it this way. So I would encourage people to, check out the book, find the movie that you like, and check out the cool art, which looks amazing, and then see if the theory adds to your enjoyment of that movie that you've seen a million times but never really thought about in a particular way.
Or even if you didn't enjoy the movie, does it give you like a different appreciation? That's always fun too, because it has happened a couple of times with me. It's like, oh right, that actually made it more fun than the especially if I'm not enjoying something, or not like the fucking Sharknado ones. Oh my god, like that was a slog I hated my life at the end of that.
Fucking fantastic.
But it was the theories that sort of distracted from the movie, so it made it bearable, in my opinion, anyway.
And the great acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Tara Reid is a national treasure. Thank you very much.
They even exported her to Australia. that was something else. That one was But there you go. Thanks for coming on, Chris. Anyway, and thanks. I know you've got stuff to do today, and you give up some of your time to jump on here to talk about it. People. And yes, do it.
Look, I don't want to oversell it, but now that you've seen this video, if you don't buy this book, in 3 days, your genitalia will burn up. That's,
save yourself.
I mean, that's just how science works.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't find a way to get a tinfoil hat, and package it up. That would be like the deluxe edition. Maybe,
right?
That would be cool.
Maybe if, here's the thing, folks. If you buy this stuff, the money's all get into the next crazy project. That's the way it works with us. Is I don't do sensible things like spend money on myself. I come up with like dafter ideas of, here, we could do this. We could make shiny stuff. We could do box sets. And we could do this, and that's where my brain's at.
Yeah.
So,
I love that idea. Or if there's like a movie that's a favorite movie of yours that you'd like to, have reviewed, you could ask, Cam or Colin to do that. Or if you want a theory about it, you could put that in the chat, and we'll try to, we could be like a short order service thing.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Flea. Appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. I didn't want to make it over long or over complicated. It was just fun. That's the whole point of it. Just I didn't want to. That was another thing we talked about, wasn't it? That we didn't want to overdo it. Make like overextended chapters and deviate too much away from the actual videos themselves as well. That was another sort of challenge.
Yeah,
Always
definitely.
striking that balance.
I think it's a fun entry. Seriously, even if I wasn't, on the cover, I actually this would be something that I would enjoy. I think it's just a fun way of experiencing movies differently. And I hope people check it out. I hope they like it, and hope we get to do more.
Excellent. Well, that'll be plans for the 2026 get started. But yeah, thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming on. And
I appreciate it.